So now that we have the sequences made, we need to import them into After Effects. Now when you go get any one of these sequences, you just need to select the first one in the set, and After Effects will get all of them. You can go ahead and say leave this default. Now I've got that sequence. The side view sequence. And the worm view. Okay, so now I have the three sequences I need. Now down here is my composition area. This, I think we call this the library, or I can't remember exactly what the name for this window is, but it's where all the elements you import. Now the thing to remember is nothing is imported. Everything is just traced by a path back to the file. There's actually physically nothing brought into After Effects. It just knows where to find it. So once you create this relationship, you can't change it, otherwise you'll lose this link. And you can always build it again, but it won't remain intact if you move the files to a different place or change their names. So I'm going to bring these down into the composition area, and you notice the minute I do, I get this brand new icon. This is a composition, and it's named after the file sequence I brought down. I can right mouse on that, or double click it, I think, or let's see, can I right mouse? There we go. Rename it and call it something different, so I distinguish it from the sequences. Now, all my sequences here came in, and they're really all kind of overlapping each other. The first one, that's only 33 frames. You can see the end, but the others are going all the way out to the end. So what I'm going to do is, if I play it, you'll see that they're all on top of one another, just like as if it was a Photoshop file, except it has motion. So the one on top is the one that we is guarding or hiding the others. And since this background area in Maya didn't have any information in it, it's a TIFF file. It's therefore clear or transparent. That's one of the reasons we use a TIFF format. If that had been a JPEG sequence, we would have a white background back there. So what I have to do is move the beginning of the sequence to the, in other words, I have to move the beginning of each of these longer sequences right to the beginning of that. Let's see if I can move this over and show you. So now my problem is I can't see down here, because really what I'm looking at is just not enough frames. There's 1 second. So I'm only looking at 1 second. So if I go up here to my composition settings, it's going to tell me what's my range is. It's saying that your file is 1 second and 9 frames. So this is seconds, frames, minutes, and then hours. We've got 150 frames divided by 24. Mr. Math is thinking that's close to 7 seconds, so I'm just going to say 8 seconds. And when I do that, you notice this little ball down here is now closer to the mountains, meaning the close-up view. And if I go back here, see, I can see a range. So now I'm seeing 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 5 seconds. Now you can see this sequence, the real long one, the one that's got the side view. I've moved its beginning so it's right below the end of the close-up sequence. And what I have to do is then do the same thing for the worm view. And you can see my calculation is way off. I'm only at 6 seconds and 6 frames. So I'm going to go back to my composition again, composition settings, and reduce that to, let's say, 6. And I always like to make it just a little bigger. I never quite trust that it needs a little room there. Okay. And that's what we've got now. So if I play this, go to the window and I look for so what I was looking for is this little preview panel. If I go to the beginning, play, you can see it's showing me the hard cuts. So my movie starts there, cuts, and cuts. Okay? So that's the sequence. The next step is we have to render it in After Effects. Now what you'll learn eventually in the class is how to make these transitions a little subtler. You can make all sorts of patterns, or you can make fades, but we'll get into that a little bit later.